In this class, we are going to learn how to solve quadratic equation using the general formula. Don't forget, the general formula is also known as the quadratic formula, okay? So, let's start with the first question. We are asked to solve for the value of x in the quadratic equation 4x squared equals to 11x plus 21. 4x squared 4x squared equals to 11x plus 21. If you look at this quadratic equation, you can see that the first step is to rearrange this quadratic equation. You understand? You know, this is how a typical quadratic equation look like. Do you understand? A typical quadratic equation is equals to 0. Now, if you look at this quadratic equation, you will discover that we have 4x squared equals to 11x plus 21. So, in an attempt to solve this quadratic equation, we have to rearrange it such that it will look like this. Okay? So, here I'm going to move the values, all the terms that I have in the right hand side of the equation. I'm going to move it to the left hand side of the equation. Okay? So, I'm going to have 4x squared minus 11x minus 21 equals to 0. You can see now, because if this 11x crosses the equals to sign, the negative sign is going to change to positive, and the positive 21 is as well going to change to negative 21. So the quadratic equation becomes like this. Okay, now the next step is that, don't forget that the general formula of a quadratic equation is this. Okay, so I'm going to identify my A, B, and C. Okay, you see, in this quadratic formula, we have A, we have B, and we have C. So here, A is the coefficient of x squared. Okay, so A is the coefficient of x squared. If you look at this quadratic equation, the coefficient of x squared is what? 4. So A is 4, and B is the coefficient of x. So B is what? Negative 11, and C is the constant term. The constant term in the quadratic equation is the term that doesn't have any value. That doesn't have any terms attached to it. You understand? So here, C is equals to negative 21. So having identified your A, B, and C, you need to plug in all this value into this quadratic equation and then simplify. Do you understand? Okay? So let us plug in all this value into this quadratic formula. Let us substitute all this value into this quadratic formula. So I'm going to have x is equals to minus b. Don't forget that b is what? Negative 11. So I'm going to have minus into bracket minus 11, because b is negative 11. Are you paying attention? Plus or minus the square root of b squared. B is negative 11. So I'm going to have minus 11 squared minus 4 multiplied by minus 21, because C is what? Negative 21, and A is what? 4. Hello? See, all this is simple. Okay, all I did is that I'm just substituting the value of A, B, and C into this quadratic formula. Okay, so let's proceed to the denominator. We have 2 multiplied by A. A is 4, so I'm going to have 2 multiplied by 4. Okay, now we are going to simplify this, okay, to get the value of x. Here I'm going to have x is equals to minus 11, that's 11, plus or minus square root of, okay, now negative 11 squared, negative 11 squared is what? That is 121, because if you take the product of negative number and a negative number, you're going to get a positive number, and 11 squared is what? Is 121. So here I'm going to have the square root of 121. Please, I want you to pay attention. 4 multiplied by negative 21, that will give us negative 84. You understand? Let me quickly solve this here. See, we have negative 4 into bracket 4 times minus 21. Okay, now let us simplify. 4 multiplied by minus 21, that will give us what? 4 multiplied by negative 21, that will give us negative 40. Oh no, negative 84. Sorry, negative 84. Okay, now negative 84 multiplied by Negative 84 multiplied by 4, that will give us 336. You understand? So here I'm going to have 336. So for this I'm going to have square root of 21 plus 336. Okay? All over 2 multiplied by 4 is 8. Okay? Now let us proceed. Here I'm going to have x is equals to 11 plus or minus square root of, now 121 plus 336, that is 457. So I'm going to have square root of 457 all over 8. Okay, this is negative. Okay, so here I'm going to have x is equals to, now we can separate the sign, or let us first take the square root of 457. The square root of 457 is 21.378. So I'm going to have 11 plus or minus 21.378 all over 8. Okay. Now let us separate the sign, because you can look, if you look at the denominator, you will discover that we are having two signs between 11 and 21.378. So we are going to separate the signs now. Okay, just pay attention. Okay, so I'm going to have x is equals to 11 plus 21.378 all over 8, or 11 minus 21.378 all over 8. You understand? Okay, now 11 plus 21.378, that is 32.378. So x is equals to 32.378 all over 8, or 11 minus 21.378, that is 10.378. So here I'm going to have negative 10.378 all over 8. So we have 32.378 divided by 8. That will give us 4.047. X is equals to 4.047, or negative 10.378 divided by 8. 378 divided by 8, that is 1.297, or 1.297. Okay, now if you want to approximate x to 2 decimal places, x will be equals to, okay, let me erase this. X will be equals to 4.05, or 1.30. Okay, 1.30, because in some cases you might be asked to approximate to maybe 2 decimal places, 3 decimal places, depending on the question. Okay, so that is the value of x that makes the quadratic equation 4x squared minus 11x minus 21 equals to 0. Okay, so let's have the second question. Find the value of x in the quadratic equation x squared plus 6x plus 9. Okay, x squared plus 6x plus 9. Now, to solve for the value of x in this quadratic equation using the general formula, the first step is to identify your a, b, and c. A is the coefficient of x squared. The coefficient of x squared in this quadratic equation is 1. So a equals to 1, and b equals to 6, and c equals to 9. You understand? B is the coefficient of x. The coefficient of x is what? Plus 6. So I have 6. And the constant term is c, which is 9. So having identified your a, b, and c, the next step is that you just have to substitute the value of a, b, and c in this quadratic formula. Okay, so here I'm going to have x is equals to minus b. B is 6. So I'm going to have minus 6 plus or minus square root of b squared. B is 6. So I'm going to have 6 squared minus 4ac. 4 multiplied by 1 multiplied by 9. You understand? Okay, all over 2a. 2 multiplied by 1. Okay, x is equals to minus 6 plus or minus square root of b squared. 6 squared is what? 36. So I'm going to have 36 minus, now I want you to pay attention. 4 multiplied by 1 is what? 4. 4 multiplied by 9 is what? 36. Are you paying attention? So I'm going to have minus 36 all over 2. Okay, so here I'm going to have x is equals to minus 6 plus or minus square root of 0. Square root of 0 is what? 0. So I'm going to have, okay, all over 2. So here x is equals to minus 6 plus 0 all over 2, or minus 6 minus 0 all over 2, because square root of 0 is what? 0. Okay, so here I'm going to have x is equals to 3, negative 3 or negative 3. X is equals to negative 3 twice. Okay, that is the value of x that makes the quadratic equation x squared plus 6x plus 9 equals to 0. Okay, I didn't even have 0 here. It's not 0. Okay, so if you substitute the value of x as negative 3 into this quadratic equation, you are still going to arrive at 0. That is what it means. Okay, so that will be all for this class. If you have any question regarding this class, let me know in the comment section. Okay, see you in the next class.